right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a new episode of Ear to Ear Podcast with C. Ray and Lanny Mo. I'm C. Ray. The guy on the other side is Lanny Mo. Lanny Mo, how you doing, Stephen, buddy?
What's up, buddy? Just taking it all in right now.
Yeah, I think Mountaineer Nation is all trying to take it all in right now. I think the game this weekend did not go as we expected. If you've been living under a rock and not paying attention, we unfortunately took a loss to Pitt this weekend, 38-34. Kind of a dark cloud sitting over atop the Mountaineer Nation right now. I think there's a lot of disdain for the coaching staff, Neil Brown, Jordan Leslie as a whole, everything. I just think everything right now is kind of in the eyes of everybody bad. Green goes 16-30, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Eli Holstein, we were told that their quarterback this year was going to be better than the crappy passer they trotted out there last year, and he certainly was, 21-31 for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Second game in a row that the WVU secondary gives up 300 yards or more to a quarterback. We did win the ground game, 188-78. If we're looking for a silver lining here, for me, the game kind of went how I thought. Thought it was kind of going to be a shootout. I didn't think either defense was good. And, that's pretty much it came down to which quarterback is better, and that's pretty much what did it as far as scoring goes. So I guess let's take it from the top, Lanny. What do you think? How do you feel?
I'll tell you, I just got to start off that went up there early in the morning. Didn't get home till late at night. And after that game, I do believe in my heart that I'm going to heaven. But with leaving the stadium, I know what purgatory feels like. For just about an hour, walking out of that Joker was awful. My tongue still hurts from biting it the whole time. That was hell. It was absolute hell. And I get the love of your fan base. I get that, just not one part of it is good or bad for your fan base or whatever. But where I walked to was into the guts and the hell of the Pittsburgh fan nation, Pitt Nation. God, it was awful walking out of there. And I never want to feel that way again in my life. It's been a long time as a Mountaineer fan since I felt just defeated, just absolutely beat on. And I took it all. I took it all with a grain of salt and just kept it moving. And it was just hell. That's all I can really say. As a Mountaineer fan, that's what I sign up for, I guess. And I admit when West Virginia caught the touchdown, when Robertson caught the touchdown to go up 10, I turned my section and I was like, over, giving the throat slash, start the bus. We're going 79 South with a W. And it just ate my words because it went straight from there. It was awful.
Yeah, blowing a 10-point lead with 3 minutes left. I mean, I know 5 minutes left when we had the ball at one point, or when they scored last, or whichever it was. But we blew that lead officially after 3 minutes when there was 3 minutes left in the game, and that's one of the troublesome things for me is it's year 6. With Neil and his philosophies and everything, and we can't close out a game. We can't close out a 10-point lead with 3 minutes left against our most hated rival. And
never could. Never could.
Well, and it all comes back to, in my opinion, playing not to win or playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And, we got Green, who's a fifth-year senior. He still can't – he's not beating anybody with his arm. And any team for the rest of our schedule, all they have to do is stack the box and shut down our run game. Make us beat you with our arm, and it's going to be a long day for us. The secondary, I don't know what to say about it. The defense as a whole, I don't know what to say about it. 2 weeks in a row, we've given up, over 300 yards. I think Penn State, we gave up, 200 to them in the air or something like that. So we've given up, over 800 yards of offense or 800 yards in the air in 3 games, the first 3 games of the season. A a lot of people, I think one of the things that bothers me about the defense is Leslie sat in his press conference last week and said, defense is an easy fix.
Easy fix.
Easy fix. I got it. Easy fix. And then we come in here and give up 300 yards to Pitt.
So where I'm at with it, sorry, buddy. Where I'm at with it is the second half, they had 4 yards of offense going into with 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
Their last 2 drives, they moved it like a carnival rolled into town. And it was just, they did what they wanted. And they had their quarterback, West Virginia had their quarterback dead to right about 3 times during those last couple drives. And he spun, he made moves. He did what he had to do. And we had no answer for it. Well, I was wondering, I'm screaming, where the hell's the linebackers at? Where's everybody at? And we just could not get him on the ground. And my hat's off to him. The kid made plays, and we didn't.
The only thing that was better about our defense this past weekend than the first 2 games was we actually got pressure.
Yes.
On him. We did get a couple sacks. We did pressure him. We did make him have to move and have to get out and do something. We did not do that at all against Penn State or Albany last week. I mean, we got pressure on Albany once, twice last week. I mean, we did get pressure on him, and that's a good, it's a good direction to be going in. But everything else about our defense right now is not great. The running defense is just inconsistent. They're doing well overall, but I mean, even we saw last week, they kind of, it's just, I don't know what to say about it, and it doesn't make for good podcast material, right? Because it's like, well, we're sitting here, it's just like, what do you say? I don't know. We've got to get better on the defense. If we keep giving up 280, 290, 300 yards to guys in the air, we're not going to win 6 games this year. Because we're going to run into other defenses that's going to be better than ours. That's going to be able to shut Green down. Because with the lack of Green being able to beat somebody with his arm, and if we can't match, if we can't match what other quarterbacks are doing, and we find ourselves in a shootout every week, how you know what I mean? It's not going to work. And that's one of the things that worries me about Kansas coming to town. One of the offensive stats right now that's really eating at me is our third down conversion percentage right now is 23% in 3 games. Wow. 23% on third down conversions. That's not moving the chains. That's not moving the chains. And that's what we have to do. And we can't do it. And how do you win? How do you get to 8 or 9 wins if you're giving up 300 yards in the air, let alone whatever you're adding in rushing, and your quarterback can't move the chains? How do you win games?
You don't. Obviously you don't.
You don't.
And I was in amazement. We dropped, and I'm going to say, it kills me when I hear somebody say, I can make that play. No, you can't. No, in the hell way can you make that play. You're sitting in your basement, same as me, and I know I can't get out there and make that play. And
I can make that play. I don't know what your problem is.
Everybody says that, and it kills me. No, you can't. You can never. The best of you. That's a Division I athlete. That's a kid. Let's put it real. That is a kid out there trying his best. There's nobody out there half-assed, and I truly believe that. And no, you can't make that play. But the thing is, that's a play that they usually make over and over in practice, and they see it coming. And our deep, like we literally dropped a pick 6 and another interception that would have turned the game, whatever. And that's like when they blocked the punt on the 2 plays before that, they called a hold, which was ridiculous,
terrible.
It was awful. Yeah. Our Milam was engaged blocking. Their guy fell down, and Milam literally just goes down with him. That's all he did. He did his job. He pancaked him. Yeah. And it takes 7 off the board. 2 plays later, well, it took 6. 2 plays later, our guy, your outside blocker before the punter, what the hell he was looking at? No clue, 0 clue. His job is to block the guy coming from the outside. They double team a guy and let one go by. Maybe it didn't seem like I said, it's a kid playing the game, but something took his eye off, and that dude about shit to hell with blocking the punt. He about murdered the punter. He took he pretty much took it off his foot. And that cannot happen. That cannot happen.
When you're talking about the officiating and everything, it was bad again. And I'm just going to say this. I'm going to put this out there. I mean, it's not like we're famous or anything, so it probably won't get back to him.
No.
Narduzzi can kiss my blue and gold ass. He sits in his post game and says, well, we played WVU and we played the rest today. Dude, get the hell out of here with that.
Come on now. Come on. And I tell you what.
Don't act like this was some kind of one-way called game. Yeah. We got screwed just as much as Pitt did. And the refs had nothing to do with you guys overcoming the adversity of the refs to win that game. I don't want to hear that crap.
And I like how Neil said it because during his presser, they brought up, and I love the fact, uncensored Neil's like, that's bullshit. And we try to watch our mouths on here, because we understand you might have it on speaker and the kids in the car, whatever. But it's one of those things where that's what he called it, and that's what it was, Yeah. And it was bad on both sides, and I get that, even Coach Brown said it. He's like, these guys don't have an easy job. Refereeing is not an easy job, but there's nobody out there that's pulling for one team or another, at least not supposed to be. But still, yet though, it's like, what do you see? What are you watching to make that call?
Yeah. And well, I mean, it's just like the offensive pass interference from Penn State that's going down in infamy right now with our fan base. I'll go over it again. I mean, because that would happen right in front of me where I sit in the stadium. I mean, the dude literally pushes him back, turns around, catches the ball, and it's like, and the ref was right there. I'm like, how did extension of the arms? I don't understand how. You know what I mean? And it seems like it's not just our games. It's around the country right now. It's every game, every week. The officiating overall in the NCAA right now is bad, and it's easy for us to say because we're sitting in the basement, recording a freaking podcast. And sorry about my audio issues. I know I'm echoey this week. I did some stuff in the basement. Had to move my set around. I'll have, foam and stuff next week to kill it.
Good.
Well, I know when it comes through and everybody listens to it, it's going to sound, they're going to hear the echo, and I hate that. But I'll have it next week, guys, I promise. But I think one of the things that really, really killed me is even I don't understand not the very last drive, the drive before that where we had to punt the last time. I don't understand why we constantly go into that extremely conservative mode of football. And when we got the ball, I looked at my buddy that was sitting in the theater room with me, and we were watching the game, and I said, "I'll tell you what's going to happen. We're going to run, and if we don't get the first down and we have more than 5 yards, we're going to pass, and then we're going to punt." And he looks at me and says, "Oh, come on." He said, "It's not going to be that bad." I said, "You watch." What did we do? We ran. We had it was 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 or something like that. And then we passed.
I think we gained 3. I think we gained 3, and it was 3rd and 4.
Okay, 3rd and 4. And then we passed. And of course that didn't
he took a sack.
Took a sack, and then we had to punt. And I looked at him, and he's got his beer in his hand, and he's just looking at me like,
"Here we go."
And I said, "We've watched this for 5 years. We've watched Neil do the same thing for 5 1/4 football seasons now. If he has a 10-point lead and there's 3 minutes left,
shuts it down.
That's his shut it down. We're not doing anything else. We're going to ground and pound. And then when we don't get it, we have to punt it away and give the game away like we just did." And then you have the last drive where I don't know if they, like you and I were talking before we started recording.
Yeah.
Maybe they were calling the same play and went to 4 different receivers. His first pass was overthrown by 5 yards. The second pass and these are all deep shots, by the way. We have 32 seconds.
32 seconds.
We need 10 to 15 yard chunks. We're taking 25, 30 yard shots. One's overthrown by 5 yards. The second one's thrown into double coverage, almost picked. The third one's thrown into double coverage, almost picked. The fourth and final one of the game is thrown into a completely covered, single coverage, but a completely covered receiver that was picked.
Yeah.
And I was kind of baffled. I'm like, how is that the best? How did that end up being our best 4 options to end the game with?
I was amazed. I'm screaming, "Take off running." Take off because you got the ball and basically get around the 50. And I know there's only 32 seconds left. You don't got timeouts. I've never coached a game in my life. But the thing is, you just get positive yards. Spike the ball, move the chain, spike the ball, move the chain, and we've all seen craziness. We've all seen Houston last year. And throw the ball toward the end zone.
Yep.
But you got to get to about the 45, 50 to be able to do that. They didn't even roll the pocket for Garrett to get a chance to take off, to use his legs. Right. And if it's not there, guess what you do? You throw it out of bounds, and you live for your next play with 18 seconds left, and you live for your next play with 12 seconds left, and it's just, what the hell was going on? It looked like they never ran that. It's almost like a scramble drill, but they never ran it before. And Pitt literally had guys standing on the other side of the field at the 30-yard line on the other side. Give up anything but a touchdown. Anything but a touchdown.
Yep.
And that was almost West Virginia's defense whenever Pitt had the ball down 3, and because they broke, Holstein broke containment, and there's nobody.
And
he ran 20 yards before he even had to think about sliding and getting down.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just seen this,
And I don't know if it's, maybe it is the coaching staff trying to turn Green into a pocket passer. It's almost like they're trying to change his game. First off, he's a fifth-year senior. He is what he is at this point. He is a quarterback that is a fantastic runner who can keep plays alive with his legs, but he's not beating anybody with his arm. Mm-hmm. And there's no point to try and get him to a point now, a quarter of the way through his last season. There's no point to try to make him do that. He's not going to do it. He's not going to beat people by passing. So I don't know. It seems to me like last year we focused more on, this is who Green is. Let's adjust our offense to what our quarterback can do. This year these are the plays we want to run, and we're going to get Green to adjust to the plays. And it seems backwards to me. And we're all armchair coaches. Everybody watching this and listening to this is an armchair coach, and unless one of the coaches are listening to this, at which point I'm sorry if we say anything that you don't like. But it's just how we feel. It's an opinionated podcast, right?
If one of the coaches hears something out of me personally that they don't like, you can point. I'll be in 107, row 14. Okay, I'm just saying that. We've had season tickets in the family for 47 years. 107, row 14. Look me up. So
well, I'm not going to put mine out there, but
I will.
But with that being said, it's hard to move on right now. It's hard to see, and we'll talk more about this in one of the viewer questions, because we got a pretty good one that I'm going to crack open on this. But it's hard to see where at the beginning of the year I said 8-4. I don't know where we get 8 wins now, unless there's some sort of drastic change with our defense. Because some of the quarterbacks that we're going to face, if we giving up 300 to Pitt, and an FCS school is going to be giving up 450 to some of the other quarterbacks we're going to see. So with that being said, let's move on. Let's try to wash the bad taste of this out of our mouth.
Here we go.
Looking on to Kansas, Jalen Daniels coming to town. We've seen him. He beat us 2 years ago. Kid's a good quarterback. He was a good quarterback last year. His numbers this year aren't really eye-popping as far as a passer goes. He's still got that running, and I think personally he's a bit of a better runner than Green is. But he's not really passing well. He's gone through the first 3 games. He's gone through 153 yards, 141, and 148. So he's not putting up eye-popping numbers as far as through the air, and they haven't really played anybody that's, could keep a decent quarterback from doing something.
Who'd they just get beat by? Because they're coming off a loss, too. Who got them last week?
Oh, man.
It wasn't UNLV, was it?
No.
They lost close. They lost by like 6, 8. They didn't get spanked. I can't remember.
It was UNLV, and it was 20.
UNLV?
It was UNLV, and it was 23-20.
Yeah, I knew it was close.
Actually, they're coming off 2 losses. They they got beat by Illinois the week before that, 23-17. So
they're not
sure. They're not lighting it up like they did last year. This time.
No.
It's still. I don't want to put this out there. It's still very much a winnable game for us. He has more picks than Green, and he has a lower lower completion percentage than Green. So out of these two, Green on paper is the better quarterback. If our defense doesn't make him look like a Heisman candidate, it's a winnable game for us. And I would be, well, I would have been. I'm surprised that we lost to Pitt, but looking at their numbers, their defense isn't much better than ours either. They're not lighting it up on the defensive side of the ball. So we should be able to, at home, get the edge on this game. I'm still shaky about it, though.
I'm not as down at our defense as much as I thought I would be after self-reflection and looking in the mirror a little bit and then watching the game from a different point of view, because I was where I was there. And then I came home and watched highlights and paused and analyzed and actually dove into it some all morning. And but in the first half, Pitt only scored 10 points.
Right.
Because offensively, they only scored 10. They blocked the punt, and that made it 17. In the second half, all except for they only had one good, decent drive in the second half up until 4 minutes left, basically. And then you change defense. That's where I'm losing my mind. Why in the hell did you change the defense that was working? Because the algorithm tells you to. When you get a lead, you play prevent. The only thing a prevent does is prevent you from winning. That's all it's ever done.
It's the analytics, man. You got to go with the analytics.
and the thing is, it's like, if it's working, don't get away from it. And that's I just don't get it. Please comment. And I'd rather see aggressive defense get beat than somebody playing on their heels.
Playing scared.
And that's like when the pass interference in the end zone, on the West Virginia number 1, when we pretty much tackled the guy in the end zone, he still caught it. That does not bother me. At least you're being aggressive and tackling the guy, trying to make a play. You're not going to let him catch it. Hell of a catch, and it was a touchdown. But the thing is, it's like, what bothers me is when they run a 12-yard out and they catch it and our defensive back's 3 yards behind him. Yeah. That's where, or a guy comes up and the guy meets somebody in the hole and, fails to make, even contact. Yeah. But it's this hurt, man. This hurt me to my soul, this loss. Yeah. I don't remember, taking an L like this in a long time where I walked away going, I don't even know what happened. I have no clue what to even go from there.
Right. Well, we have a question that'll tackle that in a second as well. So, getting on Kansas, like I said, the quarterback's not lighting it up. Their defense isn't lighting it up. I don't think their defense is any better than ours. I think I want to say I'm still shaky on everything. I'm still giving WVU the win at home, but I think it's going to be a score. It's going to be a back and forth. It's going to be back and forth. The defenses aren't going to be able to stop either of the offenses, and I'm going 42-38 WVU.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think West Virginia scores again, some points. I'm thinking 37-27 West Virginia.
Okay. All right. Well, here we're going to move into something new we started this year here a couple episodes ago. We're doing some viewer questions. We get some questions.
Love it.
I have the questions. I know what they are, but Lanny does not. So Lanny's reaction is 100% unfiltered and on the spot. I'd like
Buckle up. Yep. Buckle up. So here we go.
I'm going to start creating a graphic that says "Buckle up." Here we go, and that's going to be when we start. So our first one comes from a friend of mine that I know personally, Willie Henry, William 05. Says it's been rumored and reported that WVU is trying to get out of the Bama contract. Do you believe if we had a better coach or an upper echelon coach, would we stand a better chance against a top caliber team such as Bama? Go.
No, because it's athletes are athletes. It's not the bow. Sometimes it's the Indian. And it's if West Virginia pulls off a win against a top 10 team, It's really not coaching. It's the heart of the athlete going out there, making plays, and you beat somebody on an equal playing field. That's where I'm at with that. I think we should play Pitt every year. If you're going to drop a game, you get out of playing Albany, Kent State, whoever the smaller division game is. I think you have to play the Alabama series. You have to play that topper, that higher epsilon type of team. So I don't think the coach matters with that.
I think the coach has something to do with it. I mean, Alabama 2014, we lost that by 10 points, and we had a chance to win that, and I believe that was with Skylar Howard. And I mean, Skylar Howard wasn't any kind of big time quarterback here. On paper, he was high up there in stats, but we all know how Skylar Howard's career went here. I mean, he was our last 10-win season, and a lot of people forget that. But if you look back through the last 30 years of WVU football history, we can find a lot of games that we pulled off where we beat high caliber teams. And that's one of my problems is, every coach in my lifetime, keep in mind, people, I was born in 1990. So
you lived through 4.
I've only been alive for 34 years. So I'm only on my 4th WVU coach. Well, 5th. Yeah. I mean, you 5th, you count Bill, you count Stu in there, I guess. But every coach that we've had in my lifetime has been able to pull off those signature wins and get those big wins every once in a while, whether it was the Fiesta Bowl in 2007 with Oklahoma or Texas in 2018 with Dana, or, you know what I mean? And Neil hasn't been able to do that yet.
No.
So I do think coaching has something to do with it. I think if we had the right coach, I wouldn't say it's an automatic yes. Without the right coach, it's an automatic no. With the right coach, it's 50-50 to me.
I think it's more AD. This was a Shane Lyons thing. He had connections to Alabama. Alabama was looking for a game at the time. West Virginia had the opening pretty much, and they liked what happened with the Kickoff Classic down in Atlanta. And they said, "How about a home and home?" And it was a Shane Lyons gig. This isn't a, so that's where I'm at with it. It's
fair enough.
But Brown has yet to have that signature win.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be Alabama in 2026. Next question come from an anonymous. Didn't want us to put the name out there, which is fine.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him or her.
He says they say a lot of people are riding we can still win the Big 12 and make the playoffs train. How do you guys feel about the chances of that? And what do you think about how people are thinking it? For me, I got news for you guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to be this big negative Nancy. We looked like crap against Penn State. We gave up 300 yards in the air to an FCS quarterback. We gave up 300 yards again the next week and lost and blew a 10-point lead in 5 minutes to our most hated rival.
Mm-hmm.
We're not winning the Big 12 unless something drastic changes. I don't know how you look at the first 3 games of our season and say, okay, now we're going into conference play where most of the teams we're going to face from here out are going to be better than Pitt and Albany, and say we're still going to win the Big 12 championship. Mathematically, sure, of course we can. Mathematically, yes, it's possible. But no, I'm sorry. I think there's not a chance of it with just going off of our first 3 games. If something big changes, fantastic. But no.
You ready?
Let's hear it.
Easy fix. No, joking. Crazier things have happened. West Virginia would need every bounce to go their way, every type of scenario to go their way. We are dodging pretty much the monsters of the Big 12 as far as Utah. Hate to say, you don't play Colorado. We got one trip to Arizona. Arizona looked like garbage against K-State.
But we do have K-State.
But we do got K-State. It's at home, though. And I do believe, like I said, we're different at home. We are truly different. We might be not up to par with what we want, but we're different at home. And I made the comment I might have been last time we podcast, our last episode, that I think we go undefeated at home. And You know, and I think, and if we go, what's beside, I'm talking Big 12 though, you know, and I still, I don't see how we get to 8 wins. Right. I don't see it now. I thought for sure we'd beat Pitt for sure, and but talking Big 12, to play in the Big 12 championship, you'd have to get everything.
Yeah.
Every single thing would have to go great, and a lot of change needs to happen.
Well, and something else that plays against it, in my opinion, is we're up to 16 teams now. So it's not everybody playing everybody.
Right.
And that makes it harder because, sure, we might play everybody or beat everybody in the Big 12, but if somebody else beats everybody in the Big 12 and has 3 better, we all know how that stuff works out. So
yeah,
that's that. Our last question for this week, somebody said, we lost to Pitt. What does it do to the rest of the season? Kind of going hand in hand here with the question we just answered. I said in the last game that if we didn't beat Pitt, it's going to be a long season because it is going to set the tone, I think, I think it brings down brings down all of the hype of the season, right? We lost to Penn State. We all knew we were going to lose to Penn State, but we didn't expect to look that bad. And then you lose to Pitt. I think it wipes out pretty much a very vast majority of the momentum that we started the season with. And I don't know if you heard about this. I read about this today and was told by somebody. There's kind of some discord in the locker room starting to grow. There were some players that took Neil Brown's comment pretty personal about what he said in his press conference about the personnel we have is the personnel we have. We don't have anybody in the bullpen, and it is what it is. And there were some players that did not take that well. There's, of course, some stuff going on the defensive end of the coaching. Some people think there's going to be a change coming up pretty soon to the defensive coordinator position. So our program and our team right now, in my opinion, is not in the best of spots. We lost to Pitt. There's some disagreements and some stuff going on in the locker room. I don't think it bodes well for the rest of the season.
Where I'm at with it is the athlete in me that played a little couple sports is short memory. You're still kids out there playing that want to win. Who's out on the field want to win. And you just got to go game by game. And like you said before, it's broken. Our schedule's broken like quadrants, like these 4 games by a week, these 4 games by a week, you know? So pretty much you got Kansas and then you can have a reset. You got a bye week. You can kind of reset. And that's it's, hey guys, what happened up to this point, it's done. Now we start Big 12. And our number one goal going into the season is to win the Big 12 first.
Right.
And now we go. We go from here with it.
And it starts off with an opponent this weekend that is, in my opinion, right now, very beatable for us. If we lose this game this weekend, I'm not seeing. If I'm telling you right now, I would not be surprised at this point if Ren Baker has not called Neil and had a little conversation with him and said, "Look, lost to Pitt, didn't look good against Penn State. We're going to keep an eye on how the rest of this season goes. You lose to Kansas and you start Big 12 play 0-1. At that point, in my opinion, Neil Brown's coaching for his job again."
I don't know how close that candle is to the seat, and but some things need to start heating up in this staff. You know, hey, I have a job. You have a job. If you don't do your job, you don't work. They find a way to have somebody replace you. You know, you are a number. And Neil Brown his employee number is 1 as far as football goes.
Right.
And then it goes from there. Your OC, your DC, whatever. And everybody's employee number is replaceable. So my thing is, you coach for your job, and you better treat it as a job. That nothing's guaranteed with it. And I hate to say, I'm saying, I know they're coaches and they got families and they got kids to raise and this, but it's a job, you know. If you're not doing it, you got to go. And I'm not there saying, yeah, I got friends of mine right now. I'm never going to another WVU game if with this guy here coaching, or if this defensive coordinator's there, or if this and this and this, I'm never going again. Don't go. I don't want to see you there then. Don't show up. Don't turn it on TV. I know you will. I know you.
You'll be there.
I'm going to sell my season tickets. Sell them. Give them away. Just drive through on downtown and just throw them out the window. and if you don't want to go, don't support them. But if you're at least sit there, and then you can do all the whining and the complaining after the fact, same as I do. The exact same as I do. There's nothing I can do about it. See, Ray, there's nothing you can do about it. Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, they got to coach for their job. They are, I don't know what the answer is, but it's just
I know what the answer is.
I don't even want to hear say it. Say his name. Come on.
I didn't say anything. All I said is I know what the answer is, and he lives in Harrison County right now.
Oh my goodness!
Listen, I'm just saying. I like Neil Brown as a person. But
great person.
I've got 50 employees, Lanny, and they're all great people, and I've got a lot of them that are outstanding guys. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing your job, I have to find somebody that will.
Yes,
and that goes anywhere. You look at all the other teams that have managed to hire a coach and have a great season in the first 3 years, minus Colorado. Because they're only in their second year, so they got another year to see. But look at TCU. They hired their coach, and they went to the freaking national championship the first year. Kansas, they're like in year 3 of Leopold. Started out 6-0 last year for the first time since the mid-'90s, if I remember correctly, until Jalen Daniels went down. There are teams all around the country that are managing to get a coach and turn their program around in the NIL era and the transfer portal era and have a decent season in the first 3 years. We're on year 6, and we've had one good season that was just last year. And the teams we beat, none of them were above 500 except one team in the conference last year we beat was 7-6. Everybody else had a losing record. So
I don't think the wheels are completely fine. I'm not done with this team. I'm not done with Neil Brown. Am I fed up? Yeah, I'm fed up with Neil Brown right now.
Okay, but if the season ends, what if we take a step back and we finish this year 7-5 or 6-6? That means we're moving back with a schedule that is arguably as hard or even a tad bit easier, maybe, with the way some of the teams on our schedule are playing right now. What about that? What if we finish 6-6 and 7-5?
Okay, you ready for this? I know I know that somebody out there is going to say that I'm good with mediocrity.
I'll say that.
You'll say that.
I'll say that.
And I'm good with that. But the thing is, I don't know who wants to come here, and I don't know if you're going to get better. And are we willing to pull the bottom out of the foundation out and totally rebuild? Because then we're looking at another possibility of 3 to 4 years of a climb again and build again. For what are you going to go after? Who wants to come here? That's the balance thing.
But at what point do you look around the rest of the country and say every other school that hires a new coach can do this? Why can't we? At what point do you pull it out and say, okay, enough is enough? Is it 7 years? Is it 8 years? Is it 10? I mean, do we sit here and feel? Go ahead.
Where you say I'm gonna cut my losses. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just cut this and go again. That's where I don't know where that's at. I'm not there yet. Is it 7? Is it 8? I'm not sure. I hate to say this. Right now, I'm my expectations were high, and everybody wants to go to a bowl game, even though if it's the toilet bowl or whatever, that's considered a winning season to an extent. And you got to a bowl game, which is not acceptable right now, WVU, where we're at. Everybody's begging for that 3-4 years again where it's 9 wins, 10 wins, 9 wins. That's where they think we should be at. And I don't think we're there. And I don't understand what's going on with it. And I don't think that Neil's the guy for that. But the thing is, are we willing to pay for the guy that'll get us to that?
Well, in the first 5 years of Dana's tenure, he had 2 10-win seasons. Now, one of those did come on the back of the end of the Stewart era, which was kind of coincided with the end of the Rich Rod era. There wasn't a lot of time there. But by 2016, which was Dana's fourth full season, at 2011 was his first season, wasn't it? Because he moved up early. Yeah, he coached the last year of the Big East. So, okay, that was his 5th season, and he had 10 wins with Skylar Howard in 2016. Our most wins in Neil Brown's first 5 years were 8. Now, it was progress, and I said that at the end of last year, and I had a lot of faith coming into this year. But what I have seen so far has pretty much wiped that out to where I'm back to where I was last year, where it was I'm kind of thinking of not supporting the idea of him being the coach now. 6 seasons is a long time to 6 seasons is a long time to not be ranked, to not beat anybody and get any kind of signature win.
Yep.
Not to win any conference or even a fight for the conference.
Yep.
That's a long time to not accomplish anything.
Yep.
So for me, it's like, okay, if we take a step back this year, has to be it. It has to be it. We lost to Pitt. We lost to our rival, and we're taking a step back in wins, 7-5, 6-6. Has to be it.
Changes have to be made. In my eyes, some severe changes have to be made with either his logic, the way of thinking, coaching staff changes. Something has to be done. And because the players, I put zero blame on these kids. I truly think it's the scheme. Because athlete for athlete, I think we have improved. We have with recruiting, and but
maybe it's for next episode. We'll talk about some recruiting rankings, but okay. I don't know about that. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We hope you guys are liking this. Spread the word a little bit. We we didn't know if we'd come back for a second year, but we did, and we like it. So we thank the support, all the comments, and everything, and.
Please like, share, tell your friends, subscribe. We have Apple Podcasts.
Yes. We are officially on Apple now. So just like everything else, type in Ear to Ear Podcast, EER to TO. I should be specific. EERTOEAR Podcast. It should come up, and we are on Apple now. I had some people asking about it, and I got it done.
Yeah, he's the technical. He's the brains of this operation. Believe that. So, y'all, I'm just complete. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it, and everybody have a good week.
Hope we kept you entertained and kept you listening, and that we thank you from ear to ear. Let's go.